Gentlemen, the time has come once again to discuss things.
To do this. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Geeky Gentlemen. I am Sid2. Joining me today is Mr. Cool 210, aka Ben, and Rasco's Modern Life, also known as Rasco. Hello, gentlemen.
What up?
Hello, everybody.
Indeed, hello everybody. Indeed. Rasco, what do the listeners need to know?
They need to know that, okay, there's two different things they need to know. They need to know that there's a playlist on the Geeky Gentleman channel, or on Sid Part 2 on your channel, where they can find older episodes of Geeky Gentlemen, and they can find the links to download in the description. Older episodes or something like that.
You're so bad at this, it's awesome. You need to know, dear listener, that you can download episodes of Geeky Gentlemen. There's a link in the description to download this episode, and you can download older episodes by request. Just leave a comment on an old episode, and I will upload it to the downloading website for your listening pleasure. You can find old episodes in the Geeky Gentleman playlist that Rasco mentioned. Rasco, I need you to memorize that information.
That's pretty much what I said.
No, you're just so fucking confusing.
I think I got it.
Okay. Anyway, so Ben will be joining us for Holiday Month, for the rest of Holiday Month for normal episodes because, yeah.
Get used to me, you motherfuckers.
Yeah, I need more people on this show. Anyway, I don't have a clever introduction for Holiday Month, so Ben, what are we talking about today?
Shit, I don't fully remember. I thought you had it written down.
I do. I just assumed you remembered.
Yeah, that's what he does to people. He does this to people.
We're going to be talking about the portrayal of Santa Claus in fiction. How Santa is portrayed, how Santa should be portrayed, how Santa should not be portrayed, all that good stuff. It should be a fun time. Basically, writing Santa Claus. How do you do it? How do you not?
And playing him in films and other such things, because there is...
Yeah, the portrayal of the character. So, Ben, what made you think of this?
Because you rejected all my other ideas?
Yeah.
That's a good reason.
Well, I rejected them because we'd already covered them.
Yeah, I know, but still. But no, it was also just because I've been thinking about like those kinds of movies and like how different people play Santa Claus and how there isn't really what people would call... I mean, it's because no one really talks about it, because I don't think anyone really gives that much of a shit about it, but there isn't, like, a definitive Santa Claus in film or books or whatever. There isn't this one interpretation where it's like, yes, that's Santa Claus incarnate right there. Like,
there's no Christopher Reeve Santa Claus.
Yeah, exactly. Except
for Santa Claus the movie by Richard Donner, which is basically Superman the movie.
Are you implying that Richard Donner is Santa Claus?
No, you've never seen the Richard Donner Superman movie or Santa Claus movie?
I've heard about it. I think I saw the Nostalgia Critic talk about it.
I mean, it's a pretty decent movie, and like it's just the origin of Santa Claus. I don't know. I think it's worth your time.
Is this one with Tim Allen? Yeah.
No,
yeah,
that's the Santa Claus.
That was it.
That is definitely not it.
That's Santa Pun the movie. Thank you very much.
No, I mean, honestly, I think the Santa Claus is... Like, I didn't realize it till years later, but I remember watching that movie growing up, and that's just how I always remembered the history, the mythological history of Santa Claus was all rooted in that movie. With like the idea of he was just a guy that went from village to village giving toys away to kids, and then he got lost in a snowstorm, and elves saved him, and then they took him to the North Pole, and Father Time granted him immortality to give toys to children all across the world.
And that,
it's like this
as
really
long as he persisted on a diet of only milk and cookies one day a year.
Yeah, pretty much. There's like this really, like, Donner shot it. I think it's Donner. I'm pretty sure Donner was involved, at least as an at least as a producer, if not a director. There's this fucking iconic shot of Father Time, like, coming out of this long hallway, and there are a bunch of, like, people behind him holding, like, separate sides of his beard. His beard's, like, so long that it goes down below his body and back and back and back, kind of like a bride's wedding gown. And so it's like split across his midsection, and like a bunch of people are holding the strands of it as they follow him around. It's really, really an interesting movie, and that's my definitive Santa Claus. Do either of you have a definitive or favorite version?
Well, I mean, it's gonna be the obvious choice and the stereotypical choice. But I got to go with what I go with, and that is the what Rasco mentioned before, which is the Tim Allen Santa Claus.
Okay.
Because that was like, kind of my first exposure to Santa, was that movie. Like,
how about you, Rasco?
I think my favorite Santa Claus movie is the stop motion animation Santa Claus movie. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah, the one where he's got, like, red hair, and then...
Yeah, and there's the Meisterberger.
I saw that, like, once, and I barely remember it.
I love it.
I remember all of those Claymation Christmas special things. We did a commentary on the Rudolph one year. I don't think they're very good.
No, they're not. But they're very nostalgic to people, and that's why they keep watching them.
They're awesome, though.
Mr. Meister. Mr.
They're awesome. The songs are great.
Yeah, I don't know. They're nostalgic, certainly.
No, they're great. They're great.
Okay.
That
so
one is...
why is that version your definitive Santa?
Absolutely no, like, real reason. Just because I like that movie.
Okay.
Well, I do think that, like, when it comes to something like Santa Claus, every kid is kind of like, you know, they get this idea of what Santa's like in their head when they're, like, you know, really little. So really, whatever might be, like, their first exposure to Santa in film when they're a kid would be kind of considered like, oh, this is the definitive version, because when you're a kid, and it's like, that's Santa Claus, because that's what the film's telling me.
I find it interesting that we all picked versions that give Santa Claus an origin.
Yeah.
Whereas I know my mom's definitive Santa is the one from Miracle on 34th Street.
That is a damn good one.
Well, it's funny because if you watch that movie as, like, a normal human being who knows, okay, this guy isn't Santa, and you take everything on screen as real life, that dude is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
That dude is, like, super fucking crazy and should not be let around children.
Nope.
That's the cynic in me, I'm sorry.
Well, like, I'm trying to think of a way to...
Well, no, I find it interesting that we all pick stuff with origin, and yet other people, like my mother, it sounds like an insult, like my mother, but other people would probably gravitate to stuff that's just more, like, static Santa. He was Santa, he is Santa, he will always be Santa. Mm-hmm. Another thing that comes to mind is kind of oddly the Coca-Cola Santa? I mean, Coca-Cola is the one responsible for our modern image of Santa as, you know, all red and white and all that stuff. Because if you look at stuff before Coke started adopting the character, like depictions of Santa, it was like fat and white beard were about the only consistency. There was a lot of different color schemes, sometimes blue, blah, blah, blah.
How about Chronicles of Narnia Santa?
The one that gave you weapons.
Yeah, the Santa that gives you weapons. Yeah, that's the Santa I like.
Yeah. I don't know, I find it interesting that we all gravitate towards stuff that gives him an origin and a background, and yet I think a lot of people just think of Santa as always there.
Well, I mean, a big thing with the Santa Claus and why I more so like it as an adult, aside from Tim Allen just being really good at being a smartass in most movies, is that I like I wouldn't call it mythology or backstory, kind of like the behind-the-scenes stuff with Santa in that movie, and they give a pretty good explanation as to how he is always there, where it isn't the same guy all the time. It's a different person every time something happens to the last one, and like they even like change their appearance slowly to become the Santa Claus, which I think is interesting.
My only thing with that is I really don't like seeing Santa Claus die.
Well, I mean, the only thing about it I've been thinking of lately, and I thought this was kind of I actually just thought of it now, like thinking about the Santa Claus. Well, you know, like how in that movie Tim Allen, like, you know, he got the white hair, the beard, the big belly, and all that. Mm-hmm. And Santa, you know, not to sound racist, but he is usually depicted as a white person. Mm-hmm. What would happen to that if that universe, if someone of color put the suit on? Would they like slowly turn white?
Well, no, actually, there are black Santas. You can buy black.
No, but I mean, within that universe, though.
No, I get it, but I'm just saying, since there are black depictions of Santa, how do you know there wasn't already a black Santa in that universe? And you know what? I could make a really fucked up spin-off of like a prequel to the Santa Claus, if I had like a black guy be Santa, and then he goes down someone's chimney and starts depositing presents in their house, and then gets, like, shot because it's a black man in their house.
God. but that was more just...
Not prequel, but there you go.
But that's more of a jokey thing.
No one would react hostile to that film's release.
But I mean, like, it's just sort of a thing of, like, I like with Santa Claus, I guess, to, every other version I've seen of him is just kind of, you know, the stereotypical version of Santa where he's always jolly, he's always laughing, doesn't raise his voice. Yeah, exactly like that. Whereas I feel that in The Santa Claus, they kind of humanize him by showing that he's an actual regular guy and not just what we see in the Coca-Cola commercials.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't have a problem with humanizing him, but I don't like a lot of what the Santa Claus did in particular. Actually, no, wait, no, I'm going to take that back. I do have a problem with humanizing Santa Claus. I like Santa Claus more as this just eternally optimistic, never down kind of character that, like, you know, the classic wise old man kind of thing, that's just always happy. I like something about that more than I find that more impactful than I do any kind of attempt you could make to humanize or bring him into a more realistic tone. I don't want a Nolanized Santa Claus. I really don't.
I mean, they don't really Nolanize him in the Santa Claus. I mean, I know that, but I mean, like, the thing I'd argue with that, maybe it's because the first one worked well with making a more humanized Santa, but the second and third one tried to go for more traditional Santa with how he acted, like when he was actually regular Santa Claus. He still had the Tim Allen wit to him, because it's fucking Tim Allen, but I don't know, like those movies just didn't work as well as the Santa Claus did, because I find that the Santa Claus is a bit more. I like the idea that it's more, you know, that it isn't just one guy. It's like, oh, it's a deal that you're making, or it's like a contract you sign.
You sign your soul over to Santa.
Yeah, exactly.
Who's actually Satan. If you rearrange the letters in Santa, it's Satan! Oh my god! I just made a connection!
Although this
first one to figure it out, guys. Little conspiracy. Santa Claus is Satan. Oh my.
Although,
Raska, coming through just a little quiet. I don't know if you're like farther away from your mic or something.
although it's not the Santa Claus isn't the only version of Santa Claus I like, obviously, but it's just it's one of the and it's not the only version. Like where it's, I don't only like versions of Santa that humanize him, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I can defend a position of I like kind of the more mythic, non-humanized Santa, where he is just kind of no person could ever be that happy. But
I mean, I get why.
Yeah, it's better
because it's more a thing of that's what we just see him as normally.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see why you would prefer that, but I guess it's just I just see it a little differently, just personally, and
yeah,
I find it just a bit more of an. And didn't the Santa Claus or the Santa Claus the movie kind of do that a little bit, like at least before he becomes Santa?
Well, I mean, he's only not Santa for like the first 10 minutes of the movie, if that. Like, seriously, all he is, like, there's a scene of him giving out toys and then going out into the blizzard to give out more toys before he gets lost. And then he's like, I love the scene where they show him, like, just this endless storeroom of toys the elves have been building for apparently years. And he goes, I could never deliver this. If I had a lifetime, I could never deliver all these toys. And they say... And like Father Time, I think it is, he says, you will have several. I just really love, like, so it's a little humanized, like, but it's more just awestruck. And then after that, he's just off being Santa from that point on. I don't think it's really human. Like, he's definitely sympathetic, he's definitely relatable, but just as, like, you can see why they picked this guy to be Santa, because he is, kind of thing, as opposed to... It's a normal guy that now has to deal with being Santa, like the Santa Claus is.
You've been awfully quiet, Rasco.
Oh, what? Okay, I'm sorry.
Without
Rasco, input now.
Inject more to the conversation, damn it.
I don't know.
What do you prefer, Rasco? More of a humanized or mythologized Santa?
I'll definitely say this. I prefer the idea of like a single person as Santa, not as like multiple entities, like multiple people over time. Like so that's why I just don't like if it comes down to Tim Allen Santa versus like for example the like the claymation Santa that I picked. I prefer that one just because it's like the definitive guy, like the man who became the myth. But
this February,
he's coming to your house. He's got something special for you.
He's made a list and checked it twice.
And if you're naughty, he's not gonna be nice. You've been a bad boy this year, Billy. Bring that ass here, boy.
Oh, that's really funny. No, but go on, Rasco. I'm sorry.
Wait, what was the original question you asked me again?
What do you prefer, the more mythologized or more like down to earth kind of realistic guy that becomes Santa?
I'm gonna say I like the idea of like Santa Claus being like a person, and they're not really being. I guess I'm okay with him being like mythological to the level where he's like able to live forever or for a really, really long time. But I like the idea that like that's pretty much as far as it goes, and then just like and that stuff's obviously magical and stuff. But like, I don't know. I like it as the single guy who kind of just goes from like a regular guy to being like a Doctor Strange type sorcerer of Christmas.
Okay.
We have to stop Dormammu Cole.
What's a good way to use Dormammu and Krampus together?
I like Dalek, Santa.
One other thing with Santa that I've also liked And, you know, feel free to call me unoriginal for saying that I like this version. But, I do also like the Doctor Who interpretation of Santa that we've seen so far.
I don't know this, so I can't.
Yeah, I'll explain it, I guess, in the best way I can, for your sake, Rasco, unless... Have you seen the episode, Ian?
Just the first one, like Last Christmas or whatever it was called.
Yeah. Well, that's the only one that he's appeared in, so...
I thought he came back.
No, he didn't. What it is, Rasco, is what they did is that the episode consisted of, these, like, dream crab things getting on people's faces like face huggers and putting them in a dream state.
Okay.
And
dream
so...
crabs.
Yeah.
I
And so, like, Santa popped up. They're all, like, in one big shared dream, and the way for them to tell that they were dreaming was that Santa was appearing, and they knew he wasn't, like, actually a real person, and so, like, that idea of Santa Claus was sort of their way to break back into reality. And whenever they saw him, they'd know, wait a minute, we're still dreaming.
Snap back to reality. Oh, there goes Santa Claus. Okay.
I still prefer the Christopher Eccleston one-off joke that the Doctor is Santa Claus.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's such a quick one-liner moment, and I can't... It's been too long since I've seen the episode, so I'm not going to be able to repeat it, like, verbatim, but essentially, he and Rose are talking, and he says, "Oh, I'm Santa." And she's like, "No, you're not." And he's like, "Read by school when you were 3. And she's like, "Oh my god." She just has this, like, holy shit moment. And then I'm pretty sure they, like, reconfirmed it later on in the Davies era with Tennant for an episode, where he just, like, shows up at someone's house on Christmas and just, like, leaving presents or something. I really, really like that. Because, I mean, if anyone could be, it'd be the Doctor. He'd just have to be bored one afternoon.
And then Matt Smith's Doctor showed him showed a picture of him and Santa in the Christmas Carol episode that they did. He's like, "Hey, keep the faith, kids."
Yeah, I don't know. I really love that.
I guess it's the thing.
It's such a one-off gag, and it's like the perfect explanation. It's the most perfect explanation for Santa Claus I've ever seen in fiction.
I guess the reason why I like these versions of Santa more is just because most of the versions are the stereotypical, like, you know, happy, jolly guy, same guy, just delivers toys and doesn't really do anything else. And I like that these ones try to do something different.
So you like the more unconventional takes.
Yeah.
And I can see the appeal of that, but I tend to prefer stuff that just can really take the icon and just do it proper justice. I really like stuff like that just completely embraces what it is and doesn't try to be cute or clever or think of something smart around it. I like something that just embraces a mythology.
Well, I mean, like, even with the Tim Allen Santa Claus version, though, everything about Santa is still there. They just kind of, like, more... I guess you can almost say... It might not be the right word, but modernize it?
Yeah, my biggest problem with that movie is still... I don't like that we see Santa die on screen.
Well, I just mean with all of them in general.
Why?
Like,
What's wrong? What's so great about Santa that he can't die on screen, Ian?
You know, it's weird, because I'm usually the guy that, like, fucking just kill characters and leave them dead, goddammit, but I'm just so not okay with seeing Santa Claus die as a gag.
What a wiener.
Like that's the thing, is like, that is a really fucked up scene to see as a child. And I specifically remember being like, holy shit.
Yeah, that is weird. I distinctly remember that movie because of that scene.
Yeah, like, I just remember Santa fucking falling off the roof, and it's played for laughs, but I'm like, you just fucking killed Santa.
He does, but he's not... Well, you say that, but he isn't dead when he falls. You see his...
What do you...
He's able to, like, disappear out of the suit. Like, his hand moves and everything, so he's not dead. He might be, like, insanely crippled, but he's not dead.
Oh, well, that makes it so much better. You didn't murder Santa, you just physically maimed him for the rest of his life.
Made him a paraplegic.
Okay. Like, you see what my problem here is. They really, like, that's just a really
It's Professor Claus and the Coal Men. Dun, 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 dun.
I'm just saying, I really do not like that, and that is something that as a kid it really bothered me, and I think the Santa Claus, especially with how much time they spend trying to say Tim Allen is not Santa, and they do so much to try to convince you that it's not, that Santa Claus and everything isn't real, I think that's the movie that really broke my belief in Santa when I was younger. It did so much to try to change the mythology and change things around that I don't know. I think it overdid it for me, and I lost it.
I forget what I stopped
because of
believing
it did so much to question it, and then not enough to confirm it. It just, I don't know. It did so much to question it, and then it just kind of at the end. Okay, but there really is a Santa. Well, I've seen Tim Allen on Home Improvement, and he damn sure isn't Santa Claus, so no. And I didn't have the intellectual capability to express that as a kid, or to even really realize, no, in fact, there is no Santa. But I think that's the thing that really made me start to question it.
I guess I could see that.
And so yeah, I have a lot of problems with that version. So that's I suppose that's why I'm kind of pushing back on you so much. So I guess I'll say this: not wholly Tim Allen's fault, but more the way that whole thing is written. I think the Santa Claus is actually my least favorite portrayal of Santa Claus, or the one I disliked the most.
Oh,
how about you guys?
Oh no.
Like, what's a Santa that's like, what's a version of Santa you've seen portrayed where you're like, no, fuck that, that's not Santa Claus?
I forget what it's called, but
Paul Giamatti, Fred and
yeah, Fred Claus. That one's pretty god-awful.
So both of you are going with Fred Claus. Okay.
Well, I mean, I was gonna go with more of a joke and say the one where Fred Goldberg played like a murderous Santa, but...
Santa's sleigh.
Yeah, that one.
Oh, I remember that movie, yeah.
That's so stupid.
Well, I don't think that really counts, because obviously that's trying to be just stupid. I'm trying to think of things that are
but no, in all seriousness, the Fred Claus, because I think the thing with that one was they tried to do what the Santa Claus did, and modernize Santa to a point, but the Santa Claus had a bit more of a happy medium with it, where it's like the world around Santa was modern, but the actual North Pole area and all of the actual mythology, for the most part, was the same. But we spend so much time in the modern world, it feels more modern as opposed to being at the North Pole. But then with Fred Claus, it's very much, oh, it's all updated, and it's with computers, and this, and this, and this, and it just fell out of place.
Didn't, I know I've heard Nostalgia Critic talk about this like crazy, but, Arthur Christmas, didn't that do, more of a high-tech Santa, but it actually worked?
Yeah. Well, there has to be a balance to it, I guess. And, having Santa be really jaded in that movie, and really just not really enthusiastic even in Fred Claus, because it's Paul Giamatti.
I would never think to cast fucking Paul Giamatti as Santa Claus. I want to meet the casting director for that film.
Ho, ho, ho! I'm Santa Claus!
I just want, every time I think of Paul Giamatti, all I want to do is rewatch Shoot 'Em Up. I fucking love Shoot 'Em Up. Clive Owen as Santa Claus. There we go. Make it happen, Hollywood. If you made Paul Giamatti Santa Claus, why not Clive Owen? Everybody that was in Shoot 'Em Up should play Santa Claus. That's
even the women?
Yes. Especially the women. How come we haven't had a trans Santa Claus? What the shit? Representation.
Trans Santa Claus, the movie. Trans Santa Claus.
No, but I don't know. It's just it's one of those things where I'm trying to think of other versions besides the Santa Claus that that's not Santa at all. That just got it so unbelievably wrong. And I suppose it's a good thing that nothing's immediately coming to mind. I guess something that is coming to mind that they're intentionally getting everything wrong about Santa Claus except for what he's supposed to do, and so I'm really impressed by it, and it's another thing that I love to death, is Futurama.
Oh, yeah.
I love their Santa Claus so much, because it is like the most ridiculous, over-the-top thing. That's what Futurama is known for, but it has the same effect of what Santa Claus should do, which is to make you come together with family and friends and appreciate each other and enjoy the holiday. I really like that. He serves exactly what he was programmed to do through the most horrific means possible.
Yeah. Like killing thousands of people.
Yeah, I mean, dude, Futurama is ridiculously smart. Futurama is a ridiculously smart show, and that's one of the prime examples of it. Kwanzaa, I'm not sure if he fulfills the purpose of Kwanzaa or not, but that's just because I don't know what the fuck Kwanzaa is. So
doesn't he have, like, a Kwanzaa TIE fighters, though?
Yeah.
I'd say that's good enough.
Taekwon fighter.
Yeah. And then there's the undead rabbi who had, like, incendiary dreidels. I don't know. Raska, you take us somewhere then.
Oh, I don't know. What do you guys think of Santa Claus from the movie Elf?
I like him a lot, actually.
I like that
he's,
Santa too.
I like that he's willing to, like, come in, like, just find a bit. I love that he's willing to kidnap people. Kidnap children.
I like that he has, I like that they come up with, like, a kind of a cool reason for him to have, like, a jet on his sleigh.
Yeah.
So it's like he has to modernize himself because there's people don't believe in him anymore. And so, like, the more modern world makes Santa Claus have to become more modern. That's kind of...
Yeah, I like that. I also like that he just, like... I think this might have just been Will Ferrell being on set, but I love that Buddy comes up to him when he crashes in Central Park, and Santa's, like, ready to fight him.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not something I like in my portrayal of Santa Claus, but it's, like, such an isolated moment that it's really funny.
It is.
Like, I'm not gonna let you get in the way of me giving out Christmas spirit.
Well, like, back up, Jack! And he's got, like, the jack in his hand and stuff. That's really funny.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, though. Even Elf has one of the funniest moments, I think, when it comes to someone dressed up as Santa or any kind of Santa, is with when Will Ferrell's talking to the fake Santa in the mall.
Yeah.
You sit on a throne of flies.
I love the way, just this is like kind of a side note, and it's definitely done the least in Elf, but Step Brothers is a good example of this. So is like Anchorman 1 and 2 and a bunch of the other like iconic Will Ferrell movies. I love the way that they do the scenes in Will Ferrell movies where all he has is people who know how to improv, and all they do in a scene is they know where they have to start and they know where they have to get to by the end of the scene. And then the rest of the time, they're just trying to make each other laugh. All the actors are just bouncing off of each other, trying to make each other laugh. And it's so fucking funny to watch that shit and then watch especially the bloopers. Like, there's this scene in Step Brothers where it's him and his mom driving, and he's like, "What can he do for you that I can't, Mom? Name one thing." And she's like, "Fulfill my sexual fantasies," and she can't even get through the line because they both just start dying laughing in it. And I just love how natural that comedy comes off on screen. People try to like analyze and like downgrade the Will Ferrell movies for being so base, but that's the fucking point. It's really appealing to a very underlying nature of comedy that I quite love. And there's a little bit of that in Elf, not as much.
Well, that was his first movie after SNL, wasn't it?
Maybe. I'm not quite sure, to be honest with you.
I get the feeling it was. Well, it's like, even the thing, I also love that in Elf, that, like, when he's in the North Pole, like, when he's walking around, it's, like, a bunch of the claymations from the old cartoons. It's a nice little
Yeah, I like that too.
nice little reference. And like, I guess like with the whole topic of like Santa Claus, if we want to talk about another kind of more modern interpretation that was done that people seem to like, especially like thanks to reviews like that were done by like Nostalgia Critic, is the one from Ernest Saves Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's also another one where it's like, you know, really bitter, maybe not bitter, but like really kind of tired out, worn out kind of Santa.
I haven't seen that, so I can't really say.
I haven't seen it either.
Well, like that's kind of what they do. Like that whole movie is like, surprisingly, Ernest does not become Santa Claus. Thank God. I don't want Jim Varney being Santa. That would be.
I can honestly say I've never watched an Ernest movie, and I'm probably better off for it.
Well, it's like like in that movie though, what it is they're doing the whole thing of like it's different people again, like in the Santa Claus, but it is just like an age thing where it's like when the one Santa gets too old, they get another one. And
I think you just really like the whole like.
I like the legacy element of a Santa.
Yeah, the legacy Santa Claus. Thank you. That's what I was.
I do. I do. That's like my favorite version of Santa is the legacy version. But it's like they're doing that in Ernest Saves Christmas, and like the whole movie is about this Santa trying to find a guy who is a lot more like the traditional Santa. Like he's big. He looks more like traditional Santa. He works at a toy factory. He plays with children, and so it's like he's trying to find like who he feels is the best fit for Santa. And
gotcha.
It's kind of that's also a bit of an interesting take, even though he's not, the focus of the story. Like I said, that's just what it is for me. I guess the way my mind works, I prefer it being more of a
anyone can be Santa.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Batman.
If it's a man, then it can be any man. Yeah, that's fair. I guess I hadn't thought of it that way. You just want to be Santa. That's all that this is. You just want to be Santa.
You get free milk and cookies. You get to eat as much as you want. You get to fly. You only have to work one day of the fucking year. Wouldn't you want to be Santa?
No. Honestly, say no.
You get to get really, really fat, and no one judges you.
Fair enough. But another version that comes to mind for me, and he's not in it a lot, but I really like the Santa or the mythology portrayed around Santa and the way they tie it in with their own show in Fairly Odd Parents.
I don't remember Santa in that show.
I don't either.
He's only in a couple episodes, but like basically what it is on Christmas Day, Timmy wishes that every day could be Christmas, and so it starts to happen, but it gets like slightly shittier every day.
Oh yeah, I remember that now. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's because I just like how clever it was to tie in the mythology of the fairy godparents with Santa Claus, because the way it worked is fairies gave their magic to Santa once a year to help him spread presents and everything, and then it just got like it degraded slowly. I just thought that was a cool idea.
Actually, now that you
kind of highlighted what makes Christmas special in a way.
Well, it's actually funny you mentioned that. There's another version of Santa that actually does something kind of similar to that, but not, completely. And I can't believe I'm giving this show credit for it. Is Family Guy? Like they did an episode where Stewie and Brian try to go and find Santa Claus, and they when they get there, it's just this like completely sick, twisted, disgusting, like terrible place with like the elves are inbred with each other, and like the reindeers are eating the elves, and are cannibals and shit, and Santa's skinny and looks like absolutely awful. And their explanation is that like because people are so focused on getting like the greatest and best gifts constantly, it's like just wearing him down and wearing him out, and he just can't take it anymore. And then like the lesson is like focus more on your family, and the gift itself doesn't matter. Focus on being with your family and friends, not getting the nicest best gift.
Yeah, and that's a good message to use with Santa, but obviously it's Family Guy, so you're not going to get anything hopeful, God forbid.
Well, they do at the end, because they all go to Santa like, okay, only wish for one thing this year, just one, and it actually does like have Santa become back to his traditional self again by the end of it, instead of like the sick twisted. It's an interesting tactic to go about it, and I do think that like that's like a kind of a cool way to do a darker Santa, I guess.
Okay. Well, like, we kind of touched on it earlier, but we didn't really get to, like, a breakdown of it. What do you think is, like, something that shouldn't be done with Santa? Or, like, what do you think are things that, in a portrayal of Santa Claus, you shouldn't have happen, or you shouldn't see? We'll start with Rasco.
I honestly don't really... I think you can do anything with Santa. Like, I don't really have, like, a thing that I would just immediately see and go, ooh, I reject your Santa.
I actually agree with that, because the thing with Santa is, like I was saying before, everyone has kind of their own initial interpretation of Santa. It isn't like that he is this... I mean, sorry all you small children watching, but Santa Claus isn't real. And...
oh my god, if children watch this show. Oh.
No, but like, everyone, like, when they first hear about him has, like, their own interpretation of what he's like. So really, because everyone will initially see him differently just because of who they are, really anything can go with Santa.
See, I kind of resist that, because I think there are things you just shouldn't have Santa do, and I don't like... I resist portrayals that have him get too despondent or worn down with the world. Like, Fairly Odd Parents is kind of the exception because it was, like, particularly tied into the mythology of that show. But so many of these portrayals deal with Santa being, like, world-weary and not, like, believing in people anymore. And then, like, ultimately someone proves that people are still good at heart, yada, yada, yada. I don't particularly care for that as much. I like something with just kind of an eternally optimistic Santa that's always looking for the best in people, and, like, kind of, he'll acknowledge the bad. That's why he has a naughty list. But I don't know. I like something.
Have you seen The Year Without a Santa Claus?
I saw that.
Yes, maybe.
It's kind of about that. Like, he gets worn down and he gets kind of sick one year, and he just gets really like, we're not going to do this. And then two elves, I forget, they go on some mission to do some bullshit in some little town.
Okay, yeah, I remember that one.
They have to, like, Santa Claus has to, like, get back in the game, and he meets, like, a family, and they sing this song about how, like, when they encountered Santa Claus. And it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I remember that one now.
I believe in Santa Claus like I believe in love. That's what the song is.
I know that the one version that was kind of a weird Santa that I remember seeing was the one from that piece of shit animated movie, Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer.
Grandma got run over by a reindeer.
But no, what do you just what the shit with, like, Santa Claus kidnapping people? What the fuck is Santa Claus, like, got more in common with Krampus?
Well, yeah, he's willing to kidnap. He kidnaps babies and elf, and or no, it
was an accident.
Then he runs over old ladies and that.
She deserved it.
I guess like that, but yeah, like, that is more so something. I mean, I guess they do explain in the animated short. It was more that, like, one of the reindeer tried to eat her fruitcake, which that already is more unbelievable than the entire idea of Santa. Somebody liking fruitcake.
They put reindeer essence in the fruitcake.
Still, though, would you ever eat fruitcake? I mean, come on.
The reindeer was attracted by the reindeer, like, hormones that they put into it. Like, wanted to rape grandma's fruitcake.
I don't know what to say to that.
Rude.
Well, I mean-
Go watch it. I'm serious. Watch it. I know that movie very well. I tell
Wait.
you.
Wait, you're being serious about that?
I tell you. Okay.
Okay, we'll take your word
Oh,
on
no.
it, Rascal.
I can actually think of the actual definitive, another one of the quote-unquote worst versions of Santa Claus. And funny
Go.
enough, it involves Tim Allen. Christmas with
All
the Crank
ears.
Santa Claus.
Christmas with the Cranks.
Yeah. That movie about Tim Allen skipping Christmas?
Oh!
That was just on today. That was just on the TV in my house.
Yeah, Santa's in that.
Yeah, he's the guy. He's the old guy in the car.
Yeah, giving out umbrellas.
What a wiener! That's a lame Santa, bro.
That's what I'm saying. He's one of the worst. That movie's absolute trash. And like they actually show a scene at the end. Have you seen that movie, Ian?
No, just a review from Nostalgia Critic.
Yeah. They just show at the very end. They show him like driving over the houses with his reindeer, but his sleigh is just a buggy.
That's stupid.
Yeah.
Like,
Great.
I wouldn't think that's the worst. I think that's just a stupid portrayal. I'm trying to think of something that's like, no, you just got it wrong, you know? Where you clearly don't understand the concept of Santa Claus. And I suppose it's a good thing that nothing is coming immediately to mind, but I'm still like, I can't help but feel like there's some example out there just on the reaches of my mind that I'm just not touching on yet. That's going to drive me crazy.
I'm going to try to remember one by searching up worst Santa Claus movies.
Yeah, I guarantee you we're going to, like, finish this episode, and I'm going to be like, and we're your geeky gentlemen, we will be discussing things.
I have one!
And
I have another
What?
bad one. I'm trying to remember, I don't remember the name of the movie, but I remember the actor. Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan played Santa?
Sort of. He sort of
What?
played Santa.
What? What? How is this a thing?
There's a Christmas movie that came out that was called Santa with Muscles. And what happens is Hulk Hogan is this like regular like buff security guard dude who ends up being put in a Santa Claus costume because it's the festive time of year, and he gets bonked in the head, gets amnesia, and thinks he's Santa Claus.
Epic. Epic Claus.
Now tell me that isn't the best version of Santa you could ever imagine. Hulk Hogan.
I want a Mel Gibson Santa Claus.
You just want Mel Gibson to be everything.
Well, there is a Leslie Nielsen Santa.
Yeah. Santa Mania in the Burbs is the Hulk Hogan Santa.
What?
It's called Santa Mania in the Burbs.
No, it's called Santa with Muscles.
Oh, Santa with Muscles. Okay, never mind. Sorry. Ignore me. I love Bad Santa.
Is that really Santa, though?
In a way.
That's true. Fucking... Ugh. Oh, I'm remembering another one. I don't remember the name of the movie, but there was an animated movie that came out. A really shitty one with just terrible 3D animation. Where Santa Claus wasn't one guy, he was three brothers who fucking went on vacation.
That's weird.
Called the Santa Claus Brothers. That's what that one was. And like you should just see. I almost wanted to show you like a picture of the animation from that movie.
Nah, it's fine.
Too
okay,
bad.
so I guess it's a good thing that we can't think of definitively bad versions, so that's helpful.
Yeah, there isn't really a definitively awful in every way Santa Claus.
But as you said at the beginning of this, there are very few like there's not really a consensus on the perfect Santa portrayal either.
Yeah.
I mean, it's weird because it's a myth that goes back like before a lot of mass media style pop culture. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else that's like that, like a old school style myth that was then, grabbed onto by mass media, and now there's a definitive version of it in mass media. And nothing's coming to mind either. So that might be why, is because it's just so old and there's so many different versions.
Tale as old. It's a tale as old as time.
Yeah.
Tale is old. Song
it's
is old.
Weird, but
Santa Claus and the Beast.
It's weird, but like I always end up mentioning this for some reason or another. Either of you heard of like I think it's Swiss or one of those kind of middle European countries.
Swinterklaas?
They have a really fucked up version of Santa Claus. Any of you ever heard the mythology behind that one?
No.
Wait, what was it? You cut out there for a second.
There's like an Eastern European version of Santa Claus that's really fucked up. I don't know if you've ever heard like the mythology behind it.
Nope.
What is he? What's his name? Who?
Like it's just Santa Claus, and but if you're a bad kid, instead of getting like a piece of coal like you do here, he just fucking takes you, and you have to make toys for the good children.
Oh,
so like
God.
Right?
There's incentive right there to be a good little kid.
People, kidnaps children and then forces them into slave labor. So I guess in a weird way, Elf is like the Eastern European Santa Claus. Because Buddy becomes a slave laborer. Hey.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Right?
I remember one version of this is a bit off.
Actually, you know what? I take back my point from earlier about there not being definitive versions of those old world myths because we have Disney. Fucking Cinderella, Ian. You're a goddamn moron.
Yeah.
Cinderella, Little Mermaid. Like, everyone points to those as the definitive versions of a lot of the Grimm fairy tales and shit. Sorry, I'm stupid.
No, but I was just gonna... I was just gonna say that it's a little bit off topic. It just has to do with Santa, and you reminded me of it by talking about the whole coal thing. I was playing Cards Against Humanity with a couple of friends of mine, and they had the card. This year, instead of giving out coal to all the bad children, Santa has decided to start giving blank. And the one that won that game was, instead of giving out coal to the bad children, Santa has now decided to start giving sad hand jobs to the children. God, that game is fucked up, but I love it. Can't go wrong with Cards Against Humanity. Continue, sorry, with what you're going to say.
It's fine. I was just throwing in that I now completely remembered that Disney has done pretty famous.
Well, yeah, they have. And what studio made the Santa Claus? Was that Disney?
Maybe?
Perhaps.
I think it was.
Santa Claus is coming to town.
Because I remember that's the thing, is that Tim Allen just, for some reason, I guess, owed his soul to Disney for a while and kept doing movies with them.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
It is Disney?
I can't tell yet. I'm trying to figure out on IMDb. I don't know where to go to find that information on IMDb. Details, country, release date.
I'll check.
Yeah.
I can just go on.
Yeah, it's Disney. It's Disney.
Or not even Buena Vista, just Disney proper?
It just said production company Walt Disney.
Oh, no, it is
It's not particularly interesting to listen to us reading websites, so I don't want to take too much time.
Yes, it is, damn it. The people want to hear us discussing movie studios for Santa Claus
movies. They
movies.
can Google it themselves. No, so it's weird that we haven't had a definitive version. It's also kind of weird that Disney hasn't done like an animated Santa Claus, just like as like a Santa origin or just a whole movie about Santa himself.
With Marvel's success, they might start doing the holiday shared universe.
Yeah, I kind of want to watch like a Marvel version where we get solo movies for Rise of the Guardians. Even though I haven't seen Rise of the Guardians, I kind of want to see that.
I mean, we get like fucking Russian Santa with that
The
one.
name is
I mean,
Santa Claus.
don't joke. Depending on how this works out,
Saint Nikolai.
I know what I'm picking tonight for what we're going to review next week. But depending on how this works out, we may very well end up reviewing Rise of the Guardians. So.
Well, no, I haven't seen it, so that'll be an interesting.
I have not seen it either.
No, I mean, no promises, but if one of you wants to pick it, then we can definitely do it. Anyway, no, I think Disney should do something like that. They're pretty good at kind of cementing a version of a character. The problem is, I don't really want Disney copywriting fucking Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Because they do that without, like, I remember in high school, I took drama, and so we put on the, play and musical every year. And the teacher didn't want to do Beauty and the Beast because she'd have to pay Disney the licensing rights. And we're like, but it's fucking hundreds-year-old myth. Why the fuck do you have to pay them to do it? And she's like, you just do. They own the fucking myth now.
By the way, you're a little off about Disney not doing an animated Santa.
What have they done that's like solely focused on Santa?
Santa's Workshop.
I've never heard of this.
Came out in 1932.
Oh, of course. Yeah, the 1932 legendary classic.
Yeah, no wonder I haven't heard of it.
It was overshadowed by King Kong. That came out about a year after, I think.
I mean, I'm not saying it's like a definitive Santa. I'm just saying they've done it. It was part of their...
They've done it, but it's not... It didn't stick, obviously.
Or maybe it did, and then those people all died. In the, 60 years or however freaking long.
Well, it says here, I think they re-released it in 2006.
I'm good. Like, I mean, it's just, they haven't done, like, an animated version that everyone kind of knows. Like, everyone knows Snow White, even if they have never watched it. Everyone that knows Disney knows about Snow White.
Yeah.
I've never heard anyone. I've listened to Disney, like, fans all the time. I've never heard anyone talk about that. That's ridiculous. So, yeah, I don't see why Disney wouldn't do Santa. That'd be fun.
Remember one of the creepiest things to happen with Santa that I've seen is this old commercial that was even on one of Nostalgia Critics' like commercial reviews, is where they had like the Santa Claus hotline where you call a certain number and you talk to Santa, but he's charging you to talk to him. And
what are you wearing, Santa?
No, like, oh, hello there, little boy. Have you been a naughty little boy? I'm sure you have. I've got something in my stocking for you, little boy.
Not only my belly isn't the only thing that jiggles like a bowl full of jelly.
Oh my god.
Call now. My candy cane is ready. Oh, I so love those. Like, it's so funny being a kid watching Comedy Central late at night and stuff when all the adult phone call ads started to play, and I just didn't get it at all when I was younger. So it's just crazy.
And now Santa Claus is a part of that. Santa's a pimp. He sends out one of his elves to your house if you call and pay a good amount of money.
Indeed. Oh, man.
Hey, those elves make toys that give good head.
God. Roscoe, save us, please.
I don't know.
Roscoe, get better at changing the topic.
How much longer do we have to talk about Santa Claus?
Like another 4 minutes.
Another 4 minutes. We can do this. Okay.
Well, I guess we've just really come to the big conclusion that, like you said, there is no definitive version of Santa. Everyone has really their own different ways of doing it, and for the most part, there really doesn't seem to be a right or wrong way to do them, unless you just do it like as a big joke, where it's like, I'm Killer Santa Claus, played by a wrestler.
What do you think? Did we already talk about Polar Express Santa Claus?
No, we didn't.
I've never seen Polar Express.
Wait, what?
I haven't seen Polar
You
Express.
haven't seen Polar Express?
No, I don't know. It was the,
Polo motherfucking Express?
nah, it was that era of that whole motion capture thing where it didn't look good. You know?
You're a hater.
I suppose so.
I like Polar Express more than Beowulf.
I barely, and I mean barely, remember that Santa Claus. Like, I know that Tom Hanks played him or something.
Tom Hanks played everyone in that movie, I believe.
It's not everyone, obviously, because there's children in it, but...
No, I think he played the children, too.
He even played the train.
No, I'm pretty sure that was the big thing about those movies, is they're all, like, one actor. Hold on.
No, it's not. He played the narrator, the conductor, and Santa Claus, but that's it in that movie.
Hero Boy, Father, Conductor, Hobo, Scrooge, Santa Claus. The only people he didn't play were the sister and the mother, Know-It-All, Hero Girl, Billy, Lonely Boy, Pastry Chefs, and Waiters.
Well, that is just ridiculous.
He played like 90%. He played the major roles in that movie.
That is an absurd, ridiculous thing.
Yeah, like in the main cast listing on IMDb, Tom Hanks has 6 credits.
I mean, hey, would you be against Tom Hanks being a live-action Santa?
No.
Well, actually, no. That's actually one final good question.
Do we really want to see Santa pee? Like, do we? Because Tom Hanks somehow manages to put that in all his movies. So, do we really need to see that?
Well, I mean, that is actually one question
like sugar.
that I was going to ask. That actually is kind of a good question. I can't believe we didn't think of it before. Who would you think? What actor in a serious question? What actor do you think would be a good Santa Claus?
Ooh.
John Goodman ever been Santa Claus?
I don't think he has.
He would.
John Goodman's actually a fairly good actor. You know,
he's been Colonel Sanders.
yeah, he has. I don't care about your sexual orientation as long as you buy my fucking chicken. Yeah, good point. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like people that wouldn't make good Santas.
Leonardo DiCaprio. Maybe he'll finally get that second Oscar.
My name is Santa Claus, and I'm the wolf of the North Pole.
That's a joke, obviously. That's not me being serious.
I don't know. It's a good question. You need someone with a really good laugh. Like, that's the thing. When I think about Santa, I think of, like, a really, really good laugh.
Well, I mean, about Matthew McConaughey, Santa Claus?
Kids on night list. All right.
How?
But no, one serious one. And again, might be a bit of a stereotypical answer because of how much he just kind of delves into his roles. I think Daniel Day, like with the way he played, like Lincoln. I know they're very different characters. But I think Daniel Day-Lewis could be a pretty good Santa Claus.
But that would just never happen.
It would.
He's a method. No, actually, it would. He's a method actor. He would put on the weight.
No, yeah, that would happen if he played that role, but there would never be a situation where he's like, yes, the most prudent choice I can make in my acting career is to portray Santa Claus.
I don't know, man. Daniel Day-Lewis is taking some kind of, like, out there movies. He might do it. He might. You could, if you got him a good script, he'd do it.
I mean, it would have to be like a Steven Spielberg epic, like, definitive Santa Claus movie.
I mean, why not, though, right?
I mean, like, if it was literally that, then yes. I'm saying, like, that's not the literal example I'm using. Like, if Steven Spielberg was like, I'm gonna make the definitive, giant, grand-scale Santa Claus.
But if anyone wanted to try to make, like, an Oscar-worthy Santa Claus, it would be Steven Spielberg.
Yeah. And this...
So that's what we want, I guess. Hollywood producers paying attention. You need to get Steven Spielberg and Daniel Day-Lewis to make a Santa Claus movie together.
Exactly.
And they need to base it off of Grant Morrison's Klaus comic.
Klaus.
Even though I haven't read it, it's Grant Morrison. It's got to be genius.
Look, I'm looking right here. I'm looking on Twitter. There's someone with a Santa Claus account, I guess, on Twitter, and with the tweet, actors that should have played me. One of them is Daniel Day-Lewis. Laurence Olivier.
Don't know who that is.
You don't know who Laurence Olivier is?
Nope. Don't fucking link me something.
I'm not going
It's a goddamn discussion.
But yeah, then the other ones were Morgan Freeman and Benedict Cumberbatch. Because of course.
Benedict Cumberbatch is getting just rumored for just about everything.
Benedict Cumberbatch is Gwen Stacy in Spider-Man: Homecoming.
I wonder if the first volume of Klaus is out. Rasco and I might end up reviewing that in one of the minis.
Boy.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. I think we're past our hour mark. Does anyone have any final thoughts on Portraying Santa Claus?
I think you can really go any which way to do it, so long as you, I guess, keep to
The reindeers.
Yes.
Keep
As
the
well-
reindeers, and I'm good.
Well, I guess
That's my rule.
that's the big difference with. I know I said like that you really can do anything with Santa, but I guess it's more so to a limit. Like as long as you keep what the public knows about Santa, so long as like you don't make him some kind of crazy person who lives in someone's backyard and not like in the North Pole, then I think you can really go any kind of direction you want with Santa.
Gotcha.
And like that's why maybe that there are so many versions that like people, and like why there is no definitive version of the character, and why there maybe never will be.
Good points. Okay, I'm all out of stuff to say about Santa. So yeah, that'll be it for that episode. Next week, I usually ask when it's something like this, but I'm not going to ask. You're just going to do it. We're going to review a movie that is out in theaters currently, and that is Bad Santa 2.
Oh my fucking god, dude, no!
Yeah, dude, I love Bad Santa. It's my favorite Christmas movie, so we're going to review Bad Santa 2.
Oh,
You
fuck
two
my
will.
ass.
I don't think I can make that one.
Oh, you can't?
No, I have things to do. Would it be like next Friday?
Well, I mean, you have till next Friday to see it.
Yeah, but
It's out right now.
yeah, but you see, I want to watch good movies.
What the fuck's wrong with Bad Santa?
I just didn't think it was very
Connor
funny.
reviewed it last night, and me and Connor recorded a episode of our like movie show on Geek Evolution, and he saw that and he said it was horrible.
I don't care. Connor can go eat a bag of dicks. Hi, Connor. I'm sure you're watching.
No, but like in all seriousness, it's just that I'm just busy next weekend. That's all. Or like next week, I have work and.
Okay. Well, I'll find some motherfucker.
But the week after that, I'm perfectly fine. It's just next week. Next week, I'm just really packed up. Sorry.
It's cool.
Then we'll
No,
postpone it till then.
No, we're gonna review Bad Santa 2 next week. Have fun with that. Sorry, Rasco, but I want to fucking go see that movie. So.
Fuck, nah. God damn it. I have to see every fucking movie that came out this goddamn week, and now I have to see that movie, which I skipped from last week. Fuck my life.
Indeed.
FML.
Fuck your
I'm gonna
life.
make an FML post. You guys know that website, fuckmylife.com?
No.
You guys don't remember? You guys don't know what that is?
No.
There used to be a website called Fuck My Life, and it was like where you just told stories about what things that had happened in your life that made you want to say fuck my life.
Yeah. Oh well. Deal with it. We're reviewing Bad Santa 2. Good or bad, I don't care. Bad Santa's my favorite Christmas movie, so.
Really?
Yeah, it's my dad and I would watch it every Christmas Eve together. It is my favorite Christmas movie, hands down.
Oh boy.
It's just so fucking cynical and messed up. Like I love you just. There's so many seated jokes in that movie. Like you just see him fucking the woman in the dressing room. And he's like, "Yeah, you ain't gonna shit right for a week." And like half an hour later, he pulls up to his hotel and sees someone going through his room. So he like goes. He like whispers to a prostitute. She's like, I'm staying the fuck away from you. I can shit right for a week.
Wow.
And apparently Ben is just blowing into his microphone in reaction.
It's just that I'm getting ready to pack. So.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, everyone, thank you very much for watching. Until next time, I'm the Philosopher.
I'm Krampus. I'm Squampus! I'm Squampus!
You brought it back.
Yeah, I brought it back.
And I'm the naughty list.
Super naughty.
You're an object.
Alright, everyone, thanks very much for watching. Until next time, we are your geeky gentlemen, and we will be discussing things.
Merry Christmas, boys and girls.